Hello everyone, this is Richard. Welcome to another edition of Starfield Essentials. This is part 2 of the how to use the Astroneer mod. Today I will demonstrate a few features that didn't appear in part 1.
Back for more, I see. Cozy and lavish. It's a 5-star trip through space. All done here. Your payment's been processed. Catch you on the next mission.
In the upper right hand corner you see Salvage Luxury 7 added. This is a benefit of doing Astroneer mod projects. In addition to getting credits and XP, you also get a new type of resource called Salvage. You can use those salvage resources to accomplish research, and that's one of the new features I will be demonstrating today. After adding the Astroneer mod to your game, if you go to a research station, you'll see a new category of research, namely Aeronautics. Each one of these research projects has required materials and required skills and a benefit once you complete the research. So for example, under Grav Drive Tuning 1, you need Explorer Salvage units in order to complete this. You also need Starship Design 1 as a skill. Because we've only done a few of these Astroneer mod client requests, we don't have that much salvage material at hand, which means we don't really have a lot of the materials that are needed to accomplish any of this research. There is one that we can accomplish right away though, and that is under Procurement Stroud Eklund. It requires 10 salvage luxury units and the required skills of Starship Design rank 1 and Negotiation rank 1. And thankfully we have that, so let's go ahead and select that and we'll complete that research. What this now allows us to do is to have access to Stroud Eklund ship parts at the shipbuilder Aria Collins. So we will be able to get access to those ship parts without having to go to a Stroud Eklund facility. And this is important because you can't build for free anywhere except at the Aria Collins ship technician.
Back for more, I see. You got it.
One of the next ships I had a chance to build was a Celestial Cyclone. The requirements for this one was to be a Class C interceptor with 23,000 minimum thrust, 100 minimum mobility, a 900 minimum hull, 2 brigs, and 2 engineering bays. One of the lessons to take away from this build is that it's a good idea to start with the HABs that are stipulated by the building requirement. So for example, in this build, we needed 2 brigs and 2 engineering bays. The brig in this game, at least as far as the parts that were available here, is a 2x2 block. So you'll see I have those 2 large 2x2 units to satisfy the brig requirement. For the engineering bays, in order to have something that was symmetrical, or at least I could try to make it look symmetrical with the rest of the ship, I chose the 3x1 engineering bay. On the starboard side of the ship, I have one 3x1 engineering bay, and along the center of the ship, behind the bridge, I have the second 3x1 engineering bay. So when you combine that with the other features, I think that this ship actually came out pretty cool. After building a ship, you'll want to watch the upper left-hand side of the screen. That's where the game checks the design, the statistics of your new ship against the design requirements. So you can see that the minimum hull was met. You see that engineering bay says 0 out of 2. That will be addressed shortly. And if at this point you see something that doesn't get addressed, you may have to take a second look at your build, or you may have to save and reload the game. Let's take a quick run around this ship. I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of the way that the landing gear looks in this. It looks a little too dumpy for me, but it's very functional, and I like the way I was able to reuse the engines from the older ship. Those are actually pretty decent engines, and they worked with the aesthetic. The landing bay for this ship puts you on the second level, which is one of the 3x1 engineering bays. So if you go down to the first level, you find yourself in one of the brigs. And this can be a little bit disorienting. You'd think that the bottom level would be where you come into the ship, but that's just the way that these bays work. So here we are walking around one of the 2 brigs, and I put these brigs side by side, so if you continue going through the ship you will get to the other brig, and then you will find yourself in the other 3x1 engineering bay. Let's turn the ship into Aria.
What's our design mission this time? Instant action. This ship's redefining speed. Credits are on their way to your account until we meet again.
In addition to our credits and our XP, we also got 7 salvage interceptor parts, and this will help us with other research that we'd like to do.
Ready for another round of... Absolutely.
Our last build for Atlas is in Entangled Odyssey. This is a Class C hauler with 20,000 minimum thrust, 11,000 minimum cargo, 1,500 minimum fuel, 29 minimum reactor, and 2 living space. So as with the other builds, I start with the living space to make sure that I take care of that requirement. I initially tried meeting the storage requirement by using the StoreMax 60 units. Those require Starship Design Level 1, but they only have 425 space for cargo. So I turned to my old standby, the Galleon S204, which requires Starship Design Level 3, but gives you 1,480 cargo. And I also like those because they have snap points on the tops and every side, and even the bottom, so you can put landing gear under those things. So in addition to just having tons of cargo, they work with a variety of ship designs when you need to put stuff on top or on the bottom, or all the dimensions are covered by that particular storage unit. And I think my cargo was actually just barely above the requirement. Even with all of those units attached, it was still just 55 kg above what was required. Before we turn the ship into Aria, let's get a look at the external view from the landing pad. And when we take a look at it, obviously the biggest defining points are those Galleon S204 cargo units at 1,480 kg each. But I actually like the way this ship came out. It has a pretty basic hab layout because there's only 2 living space, so there's no real need to take a look at the internal part of the ship. But as far as what it can do as carrying 11,000 minimum cargo, that's pretty cool.
Well, hello there. From sturdy to stunning, she's a cargo showstopper. Contracts all wrapped up, and so is your payment. Looking forward to the next one.
And there we have it, as our Entangled Odyssey flies off into orbit. My name is Richard. This was the Astroneer mod by Codegangsta. If you like this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I love to interact with everyone who watches the videos. And I will see you in the Starfield.